Today we're going to talk about how I plan and schedule future projects and keep up with what I've got in my stash. Let's get into it. Hey guys, I'm Sarah. This is my channel Moonraker Makes, where I like to talk about everything I've been knitting or weaving or just what I've been up to lately. Today we're going to talk about a couple cool things that I use as tools to plan my projects and just to keep track of like what's going on in my head. I have a really big like master spreadsheet that I use to keep all of my project ideas and like yarn acquisitions or yarn like future desires kind of organized so that I can use it as a reference. So I'm going to walk through that with you guys today and also go clean up my Ravelry queue because there's some things I know in there that probably need to go. So starting out, this is my spreadsheet. So I have, you can kind of read, I've got cast on and cast off dates, and then I have a yarn section with brands, weight, color, fiber content, and then I have a section I might change. I've been thinking about doing yardage instead of grams per ball, but that might just depend on the yarn and the type of project. So that one's in the works. Yarn picks, sometimes I pull it off the website, sometimes I use my own photo. It really just depends on what mood I'm in, I guess, and availability. Pattern is what kind of pattern I have in mind for that yarn. And then I have a needle section and size and gauge, and then a notes section. The notes section really just depends on, you know, vibes, how I'm feeling. Future, if it's a future plan, if it's a current plan in my queue. It's also all color coded. So anything, the reason there's different colors greens is because sometimes I edit on the Sheets app in my phone instead of on my desktop. So this is the desktop view. If it's in green, it means I have it. So I have the needles, I have the pattern, I have the yarn, it will be in green. If I don't have it, it will be in red. And everything that I've ordered, like pre-orders and stuff, to keep up with that, I will put it in yellow. Or if I've like placed an online order and it hasn't come in yet, I'll put it in yellow so I know kind of what its status is. So going through here today, so this top one, I've got the My Favorite Things camisole number 5, which I talked about in my spring summer planning. My plan was to use this ballerina cotton merino that I have from Knitting for Olive, but I'm not sure that color is actually going to look really good on me. I know it was in my color analysis, but I just don't see myself wearing this kind of really, really pale pink. It's just a little too light for me, I think, but without being like a true like cream or off-white or something. And I really like the color. I have it actually as the example photo over here, is Study Knit's version that I think she did in like a rusty orange sort of color. I think I would like it better in that kind of tone, in like a rust or an olive, or maybe even like a dusty blue or something I would like better. So I think what I would like to do, I still want to do camisole number 5, and I still need to use up this yarn. So what I might do is split these and use maybe the cotton merino for a baby knit. I found out all my friends that are having kids are all having girls, so that bodes well for all of the pink cotton merino that I have. So I might make her like a spring, sweater, or maybe some socks or something cute like that. So what I'm gonna do is kind of separate the yarn from the pattern. So I'm going to copy this stuff and bring it down here to the bottom. Copy the inspo photo as well. Bring it down here. And then just kind of delete this stuff and leave that open for future planning. It's been sitting in my stash for a while. My original intent, I have 3 different shades of this cotton merino from Knitting for Olive. My original intent was to do the gingham sweater, which I think is a version, what's the other version of it called? The patchwork sweater, maybe? It was one of Sorella's patterns that I got for free, like during a sale that she was having. And I was so off gauge. So I just have all this pink cotton now, and I wasn't really sure what to do with it, but I think it's going to be great for a baby knit. I did just like marathon knit 2 different baby sweaters, so we might we might hold off on any more baby sweaters for a minute. Looking at this spreadsheet too is kind of, I'm an archaeologist. It is kind of very stratigraphical in a way too, because I normally, when I get an idea for the way I kind of use this spreadsheet is whenever I get an idea, whether it be a pattern or a yarn that I see, I will just come and I will just put it in a spreadsheet. So if I see a yarn combo that someone's using, I'll just scroll to the bottom and I'll add it. Or if I see a pattern, I'll go ahead and put it in here and I'll calculate what size I would need and what the yardage is, so that if I'm out and about and I'm like, oh wow, this yarn is really beautiful and it's the color that I wanted to knit the Siri cardigan, then I already know like how much yarn I would need to buy if I wanted to knit it. And it's on my phone, like, and it's easier to reference than just like going through Ravelry because I already know what I need. So this next one down is the Beatrix cardigan, which I actually finished. I haven't shown it yet on the channel. That'll be in my next podcast, which will probably come in a couple of videos. So I'm gonna have this video and then probably a flock update and then my next podcast, which I have a few finished objects for, which is exciting. I'm really happy with the way the Beatrix cardigan came out. But I wanted to show you guys kind of what I do. So I have an archive tab. So what I like to do is just pull. I also have a mechanical keyboard, so I'm really sorry if you don't like clicky clacky keys. This might be an annoying experience for you. So this is my archive tab. Some of them are different links because I've added and taken away from the categories on my spreadsheet a few times. But I just like to scroll all the way down to the bottom. This kind of gets, I'm going to refresh the page a little bit. I thought it was, there we go. Let's do 90%. 80, there we go. All right. You can kind of see off to the side, so I have the yarn photos and the project photo, just like I do on my regular tab, but then I also put in a photo of the finished object. And this is a way for me to see even things that I've gifted. I can go back and like have a record of what they look like, separate from Ravelry. The reason I like this better than like the projects or the queue page on Ravelry is because I can see everything at once. So I can see my cast on and cast off dates. I can see what yarn I use. I can see how much yarn I use, the finished object, the pattern photos, all in one glance, instead of Ravelry would have to click in and out of stuff to be able to find that. You know, just yarn data, nerd stuff. So I'm gonna scroll all the way to the bottom and add my Beatrix cardigan. I will, ooh, not that. Yeah, center some stuff and then go back and also pull the photos. Since I'm recording on my phone, I'm not going to add the finished object photo yet because I need to do that for my phone. So we'll do that after the fact. So my Beatrix cardigan, you can see I cast on in the end of January and I cast off last week. I don't have my final yardage counts in here. I do like to do that on Ravelry so that I can export that data if I want to. And then I'll just delete these 2 rows. Actually, I'm going to delete these photos first, otherwise it messes up the formatting. Boom. It's so satisfying to do that too. And that's just kind of how I keep track of stuff. The next thing down that I have is the Cumulus Blouse by Petite Knit. I, ages ago, bought way too much, or accidentally bought, I guess. I was trying to buy Drops mohair, and I accidentally bought a bunch of balls of the brushed kid silk, which is still a lovely yarn, but I kind of have like a weird amount, so I don't really have enough to make. I don't think I have enough to make this sweater, but I do think I have enough to make the Berlin scarf, which is what is down here too by Suzanne Mueller. So I have 6 25-gram balls of green, the moss color, I think it is. And, oh, these photos got switched. Yeah, of moss green and black. Put that back. And I think I had originally thought maybe I'd do a cumulus blast and a Berlin scarf, but I think I might just make 2 Berlin scarves, because who doesn't need a black and a green scarf? The green scarf will go really well with my Barber jacket, and black's just classic, right? So I can wear it with like my winter coats and stuff, I think will be nice. So for this, I'm gonna leave like the yarn section, and then I'm just gonna delete this stuff out of here and move this up. And there we go. And we'll get to that eventually. That's definitely not on my priority list, but I think it would be a really great project if I just need some like straight, really long knitting time. The next thing I have in here is the Rococo Raglan Tee. This is a pattern by Sari Nordland, which I can also move up here. Ooh. Why doesn't this one work? There we go. This is the Rococo Raglan Tee, which I was planning on knitting out of Sorella's Silk Sock base. I got this last summer for her summer knit along. I tried to make this. I think I ended up frogging it like 4 times. I have a really hard time with lace, with like the yarn overs of if I find a mistake and then you like rip back, yarn overs are just kind of, you can't really pick them back up, and it makes it really hard for me for lace work. I've really got to pay attention. And I was just like way too much of a beginner when I first tried to attempt this pattern. And I saw recently she posted, Sari Nordland posted on her Instagram about how it's a challenging, like not a beginner pattern. So that made me feel a little bit better. But this is still in the works for the future. I do think this yarn would look really nice with this top. And I do want to give it another go. I just don't know when that's going to be, so we're going to let it sit for another minute. Like I said, the Drops brushed alpaca for the Berlin scarf. I think that's going to look really nice in the black. And I think, what is that, 150 grams? I think I can get a decent scarf out of that. And if it's not enough, I think it's going to be, I ordered it like 2 years ago now. I think just getting even a different dye lot and being in a scarf and being able to like alternate skeins, it'll be okay versus like a garment. Next down I have the Treehouse Knits. This was from her Outlander collection, the first drop. I got More Tangled Than a Skein of Washed Yarn and La Dame Blanche. So this is a really pretty like brick red, kind of orangey brick red color. And then I got a La Dame Blanche is a kind of like off-white creamy base. I'd really been wanting almost like a pumpkin-y red rosy sweater to do kind of basically the opposite vibes of the color story of the main pattern photo. So to do, sorry, my eyelashes keep sticking together. I don't know why. So I don't own this pattern yet, which is why this is in red. I'm excited about this. This is probably going to be in my fall plans. I'm not going to do this. Let me make this a little bigger. Not going to worry about this anytime soon. You can see on here, I did just cast on the Ambrose Smith Little Paddock socks with Red Door Fibers, Bounce Sock, and I got Hearth. I got about 3 rounds through the pattern, and this is also a lace pattern. And I realized I had messed up. I was knitting it while we were watching the Tour de France, and I got like really into watching the race and wasn't paying attention, and I messed up some of the yarn overs, and because I'm dumb, I ripped the whole thing out and then tried again, messed up again. So we're just back down to the cuff, and it's in whip jail for the time being until I get back to it. For my cast-ons, I like to highlight the ones I've got cast on in yellow. Again, on my phone, like the Google Sheets, it's got night mode on, so it's in black, and highlighting it in yellow makes it easier for me to find the projects that I have casted on. Next in here I have Petite Ned's Dagmar jacket. So I knit my husband the Dagmar zipper sweater man last year, or finished it this year. I finished it this year, and I ordered enough yarn to make myself a matching cardigan. So that's why this is in here. I just finished a brown cardigan. So this one might be a later project as well. Next I have the My Honey Vest by Wool & Beyond. I got a bunch of yarn, which you can kind of see in this photo right here. When I went to the Alabama Fiber Festival in Birmingham last year, I got 2 things of worsted, this cream worsted weight yarn per the pattern, and then 4 different skeins of fingering weight. And my plan, so that My Honey Vest is a fisherman, or honeycomb brioche, excuse me, honeycomb brioche. And so my plan was to use this kind of like pinky light green as the background for the honeycomb brioche, and then the cream color is the worsted weight, is what's supposed to be kind of like the netting, the honeycomb on top of it. And then I saw on Ravelry someone had the base color is green, which I really liked, so I did this darker green color was my plan. The real problem and why I think I keep putting this off is because I'm not really sure if I would wear this vest a lot, and it's a lot of work for honeycomb brioche because it's very difficult. Like even just doing the swatch was a whole thing. So I think I keep sitting on that. I don't know if it's something that I want to take the time to do or if I want to use the yarn for something else. So this one's kind of in my Q jail, we'll call it. I'm not sure when that one's going to happen. This next one is also kind of a hope and a wish. So I had bought, sorry, I keep getting itchies because I think it's this, I'm wearing, by the way, I'm wearing my Novice Slipover by Petite Knit that I knit in 2 shades of, not 2 shades, Golden Hour Knitwear's Drawing Room, Non-Superwash DK, and Surrey Alpaca. I knit this to wear with my friend Flock. I'm wearing it today kind of just like a tank top, like I don't have anything on underneath it. But the fuzzies are itching me a little bit today. So back to the spreadsheet. I bought 7 balls of no waste wool and 7 balls of soft silk mohair from Knitting for Olive, all in the shade Slate Green, because I had planned to knit Other Loop's Brady Loop sweater. After that, I kept hearing people talk about how off the sizing and the grading was for that project, and I did not want to spend the time to knit something that I was gonna not like. So I kind of just have that yarn in my stash, and I was thinking, I had this idea, which you may have already seen. I was trying to find a pattern that I could use. So for like a Barber jacket, there's a vest, like a vest liner you can buy for the inside of it. And I didn't realize it was polyester, and so I was like, I don't really want that. And I was like, oh, I can make like a zipper version. So I was looking at a couple different like full zip sweaters because I thought maybe like a little collar would be nice too. And then it occurred to me I was actually looking in the Barber jacket to like measure, because it's one of those where it's like a double zipper. So you've got like an outside zipper for the full zipper coat, and then there's another zipper on the inside where you zip in the liner. I was measuring the liner zipper, and I realized the Barber vest that you buy for it is like a V-neck vest, like a suiting vest almost. And so the zipper doesn't start until like down here. So I was like, oh, I need like a V-neck cardigan. And you don't really see many zippered V-neck cardigans. So I was trying to find something that I would still want to wear even when it wasn't zipped into my barber jacket. And maybe something with like cute little pockets I was really interested in. So the book club cardi kind of occurred to me. I think I thought about making it in a way where it has a zipper down the middle so I can zip it into my barber jacket, and then maybe has like an off the shoulder kind of, because it's kind of like a drop shoulder, especially for my size. I think it would come to about the top of my arms, and then I could wear it as a vest, a zipper vest, even when it's not in my barber jacket. So that one will definitely be like a homebrew home kind of project. So that one is in queue jail as well until I spend more time, until I'm like in the mood for a really complicated project. I think that's where both of these ones kind of are right now. Next on here, I have 2 of Knitting for Olive compatible cashmere in Morning Haze. I have 2 25-gram balls of this, and my thought was to hold it double for a Sophie scarf. I have been putting this off. I did also have this in my spring and summer knitting plans. I've been putting it off because I just don't think a gray mini scarf is going to look good on me, like color-wise. So I think I will either do one of 2 things. I had 2 thoughts. I can either make it anyway and keep it to give to someone as a gift, or I can use the cashmere to make like a cute stuffy for my new niece. Or make some kind of like, wouldn't it like a gray, wouldn't that make like a cute bunny or like a tiny elephant or something? I don't know. I've never knit like a little creature before, so we'll see. Like I said, this is kind of like where I like to sketch out ideas, so we can add that to the notes too. Or maybe a stuffy, so I don't forget about it later. That's the real reason I have most of this, because I'll have an idea and then sometimes I'll come back and I'll be like, oh, that's dumb, I don't want to do that, and just delete it immediately. And other times I'll be like, wasn't I just thinking about a yarn or something? And I'll come back to my notes and see it and be like, oh yeah, duh, great. Next is the joys of living in the city. Next is the Lakes Pullover by Ozetta. I wanted to knit this in Nora Madara Sake. I have 7 skeins of this. I think like a lot of people have done this yarn combination and for this pattern. And I know it is off gauge. So I believe the Lakes Pullover, here, I think we can look. I think it's in here. Yep, here it is. Worsted, and Nora Madara is Erin. So I know a lot of people have knit this project with this yarn specifically, and it's so beautiful. Here it is. Used 79 times. See, like, look at this one. Who's this? Knitting Pauline. Isn't this so cute? So I'm excited to do this. I think this will be just a great, like, throw it on in the fall kind of sweater. I know I was just like talking crap about gray 5 seconds ago with all the rainbow colors in this. It doesn't really read like a gray sweater to me. So I would like to start this next. This is going to be an after like t-shirt, tank, sock kind of projects. I don't want to start another sweater project right now. I finished, I've kind of marathon knit like 2 baby sweaters, finished my husband's sweater this spring. And I'm going to put off sweaters until later in the fall and just focus on like accessories, tank tops, and t-shirts for a little bit. The Ophelia blouse. So this was in my spring and summer knitting plans as well, but I will definitely also not have time to get to this. So this one was definitely like a pipe dream kind of thing, but I think I'm going to save it for next summer or spring, and just like kind of see how my fall goes, because I do have some like pretty exciting projects coming up in the fall that I'm ready for, like this Maple Meadow cardigan. So I have, this is Marlene Knits. I loved the color that she did. I think it was the Roseau Pomar yarn, and like this olivey color is kind of what inspired me to get Treehouse Knits, the Cotton Ear Worsted in a Scottish Noise. Is this really beautiful, like mossy, like vibrant mossy green color. And I'm real excited to start this. I think this is gonna be probably my project that I do after the lakes pull over this fall. You can see, you know, like another unrealistic fall knitting plan mood board coming your way soon. Whoops. Next on here is the Olga sweater. So I will also show you that. So if I go to my projects, you can see, is it at the bottom? There it is. So I did this twist loop collar. This is an in progress photo, but you can kind of see this beautiful, like really dark kind of charcoal color with these rainbow tweeds in it. This is from Red Door Fiber, her Studio Ghibli collection in Soot Sprite. Hey, look how cute that is. I really liked this pullover, but I had issues with the ties. They're just not, they pulled on this yarn way too much, and I think it was more the wrong yarn for the project. And I also had issues with the sizing for this project. I made the bigger size, and I still don't feel like it was really like size inclusive enough. I think even another repeat on the outside, and I just decided it was the kind of like object that I wouldn't wear a whole lot to begin with. I thought I would enjoy having this kind of like tabard style vest, but I really didn't. I found it annoying to wear. I wore it to the Alabama Fiber Festival last year. So I think what I would like to do, I also didn't use hardly any yarn for this. I think I bought 500 grams. Yeah, 500 grams of this, and I only used half of it. I used 250 grams. So kind of my plan was to, I thought, how cute of an Olga sweater would this make? I think I've talked about this before. So I don't know if rainbow sprinkles is what I'm gonna do. I think she used to have a tweed version that was like a cream base with the rainbow kind of tweedy bits in it, but it looks like in recent years she's been doing her rainbow sprinkles as like a dyed rainbow sprinkle, which is also really beautiful, but not what I would want for this project. So I think I'm gonna delete that specific yarn out of here, and but keep this plan. This is definitely like this is good to have in here though, because that means if I do find a yarn that's complementary for my Soot Sprite yarn that I think would make a cute Olga while I'm out, like maybe a flock, who knows, that I can just like grab it and I already know how much I need. Next is my mixed rib cami, which, as we all know, is the project that just, it feels like every time I sit down and knit on it, it doesn't grow at all. I am making some progress on it. I knit on a little bit while we watched the Tour de France. I cast this on March 26th. I am now about 40, the front is about 41 centimeters long, and I would like to get it to 50. I think I would like to do a lettuce hem on the bottom of this. I think it's going to be really cute. So I think I want to get it to like 49, 50 centimeters and then bind off with a lettuce hem. This is kind of what I'm holding out on and trying to monogamously knit on this tank top before I start anything else for the moment, besides the socks, because a girl's got to have a pair of socks to look at too. For this, I have this modern linen from Barocco in Grand Plum. I bought this when I was in Savannah. You might have seen in my Savannah vlog video. And it's this really pretty dark plum color. It's actually really similar to the color, the Belladonna, that I'm using for the mixed rib cami. And I would like to do the eyelet version of the Tolsta tee with that. So that's in here. Ready to go. The Isabel top is definitely my next tank top desire. It shot to the top of my desires as soon as the pattern came out. I signed up to test knit this. I did not get chosen. I did buy the pattern when it was released. So when I finish my mixed rib cami, I think this is going to be my next project. And then down here I have 2 baby sweaters that I finished. So I have one for my husband's god sibling he's having a daughter. I'm gonna put this in my archive tab. And this sweater is for my niece. Put that in my archive tab, and then I think I can copy all these photos over at once. There we go. And then I can delete all of these. I didn't get a good photo of the sock oopsie that I used for this, but I will eventually add a photo. It's on my Ravelry, so I'll show you that in a second, but I will eventually add a good photo to my archive as well. We'll see what happens with camisole number 5. So this is a good, I think this is a good place for, sometimes these photos get a little off, and if I just refresh, they go back to where they were. So now that I've gone through this and kind of cleaned it up with you guys, and looked over everything, you can kind of see, so things that I have plans for, oh, I skipped this one. Things that I have planned for that I don't have yarn for, there's not a whole lot. I have quite a bit of yarn at the moment that's waiting to become all these cute objects. One thing I do have on here, I do really like this lily vest. So it's like I like the tie front version. It's got a little peplum tank top. And it requires a sport weight, like kind of summery type yarn, which I don't see a lot. So I put the size and the meterage or grams that I would need for this project. And so this was something I was going to try to look for at Flock. As well as, like I said, this stuff for the Olga. And then I might do the same thing and figure out what I would need for the camisole number 5 to do the size that I need. So I can look for something for that at Flock as well. But let's go over to my Ravelry queue and we can clean that up a little bit too. So the Isabel top, like I said, I want that to be my next project to cast on after I finish the mixed rib cami. My plan is to use the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the color cream, which I should have enough yarn for that. I'm gonna do the plain version that doesn't have like ties or buttons or anything down the front. After that, I think my first fall cast on is going to be the Lakes pullover, so I don't necessarily know if it'll be my next cast on, but it definitely needs to stay in the queue, I think, because that's a near future plan. Camisole number 5, because I'm kind of reworking what yarn I want to do for this one, I'm going to take this out of my queue for now, and we can add it back in later after I know or acquire yarn to do it. The Ophelia blouse, this is another one. I don't think I'm going to have time to do this year. I do have yarn for it already, and that might change. I don't know. Maybe I'll fly through the Isabel top and I'll want another T pattern, but for now I think I'm going to take this one out of my queue too. I would like to not have more than 10 projects in my queue at a time, and right now I think I have 14. Sophie scarf, I'm also going to take this out of my queue. Like I said, I don't know if I actually want to do this or if I want to use that yarn to make like a stuffy. And I don't know who I would even gift this to right now, so we're going to make that a later plan. The Tulsa tee I'm going to leave in here because I may want, if I have time before it gets really warm outside, I may want to make another t-shirt, so I am going to leave this in here. I'm going to leave it, maybe I'll move it up one. Oh, I don't even have this in my spreadsheet. So I put this in here after I got back from Alaska. I bought a skein of Kiviat yarn, and I have not put that in my spreadsheet. So I will do the bulk of that later, but I'm going to put it, what is this? Ooming Mott Kiviat. Let's go here. Oh, it linked it. I guess that's fine. So that I remember to do that for later, I will add that. Oh, that's actually really nice. I can just do that and then it links directly to it and I can click on it and go to it. Guys. I didn't know that was an option. Oh, why didn't I think about that? Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to go through and update these later. We'll come back to that. So yeah, I have 23 grams of this Kiviat yarn, and I thought this kerchief was really, really pretty, and it looks like the right kind of color and texture for that yarn. So Kiviat's really, really soft once you wash it. So because of the spinning oils that they use for it, you actually need to wash it in Dawn soap to be able to get the spinning oil out. And then it's supposed to be like one of the softest fibers. They only sell it in very small amounts, so I thought this would be a really cute like kind of neck scarf situation. It's in this like kind of medium brown color, so I thought this would look good like with my style and outfits as well. Where do I want to put this in my queue though? This would be a really good like fall kind of project as well. I might leave it here for now and we'll revisit that here in a second. The Harvest Tea, so I have Noro Kakegori for this, and this really pretty. It's like a tan color with red and blue and yellow flecks in it. It's primarily cotton. It's a blend yarn. I don't know. it's another one of those like forever kind of projects because it's fingering weight to light fingering on very teeny tiny needles. So I don't know if this is the kind of sprint, like marathon project that I want to sign up for until maybe next spring. So I'm gonna keep it in the queue because I do want to make this, but not right now. No, I'm gonna take it out. We're gonna take it out. We'll revisit this in the spring. Dagmar jacket I am going to leave in. I think. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Berlin scarf. I think this will be a good project to do this fall. Maybe in between a sweater. We'll see. The Mabel Meadow cardigan, I do want to work on this fall. I don't know if I'm going to have time to get to the Rosie sweater this fall. It'll also depend. I've heard that the color work, the pattern is kind of challenging. I guess I would probably put that in the same category as like the Dagmar jacket of having a project to like focus on, you know, not all projects are like watch a television show kind of projects. And then the Cumulus blouse I'm going to take off because we took that out of our spreadsheet. Just thinking about it. There we go. My honey vest, I'm going to take out of here because I don't plan on working on that this fall. I'm not even really sure if I want to do it quite yet, if it's the kind of garment that I would wear, if I even like those colors and things together. I have the swatch for it somewhere. I'll see if I can post a picture of it in here, but we'll take it out for now. The under the quilt socks, so that's I think the only sock pattern I have in here. Did I have any socks on here? I have a lot of sock projects I need to add onto here. We'll do this again, under the quilt socks. Oh, it would help if I used the right thing. There we go. You guys, this is so nice. Why didn't I know I could do this? I'm so glad I made this video so I could figure this out. So my plan for the under the quilt socks, which I have here, is the Woolberry Fiber Co's Flower Crown, which is a cream colored yarn with some like brown, blue, purple kind of speckles in it with this Zauberball crazy that I got when I was in Anchorage. I saw a lot of people talking about using Zauberballs for this color work on Instagram, and I absolutely loved it. I just put the Stella quilt blanket in my queue. I don't know if it's going to be a queue project though, because it's something at the top of my mind to use up some of the scraps that I have of like varying yarn weights, but I don't know if that's like I don't have enough scraps to do this. And I would also need a lot of white yarn. I think this is a future plan, so I'm going to take it out of my queue for right now, but I am going to put it into my spreadsheet so I can remember and keep track of it for later. This is so neat. I can't believe I can do this. Oh, so exciting. Okay, that leaves 9 things in the queue, which is really neat. So I have Isabel Top, Tulsa Tea, Lakes Pullover. So let's go to change order and kind of think about how we want to do this. So if I finish the Isabel Top and it's still warm, I think I would cast on the Tulsa Tea. If it's not still warm outside, because I live in Atlanta and it could possibly be warm all the way through October, you never know, then I would probably do the Lakes Pullover. I'm going to leave the kerchief in there because I think that would be a really great fall accessory, just like these socks and the scarf. But I want to do the Maple Meadow cardigan more than I want to do the Dagmar jacket. So I'm going to move that up, as well as the Berlin scarf. And I'm going to move the Under the Quilt socks up because that will be my next sock project, I think. Sounds good. Save changes. There's another sock project I want to add. I bought from Sunday Fiber Co. her On Sundays collection. I got a couple skeins of sock yarn from her that I wanted to, these are my sock favorites. There's a bunch. I wanted to do shucks in the Chilton socks. So I'm going to add this to my queue as well. Use my stash yarn. I did just update all of the amounts and pictures and stuff in my stash. So if you're curious about what I have sitting around, there's a link for my Ravelry in my YouTube bio. You can go to that and you can see photos of everything that I've got and everything I'm working on. All right, save. Okay, so I'm happy where all of this is. I'm going to update some of these. So that was a little bit of my process of how I plan future projects, how I manage my current yarn and project plans, both through my own personal spreadsheet and on Ravelry. Thank you guys so much for watching this one with me today. What have you been working on while you watched this video? Please leave a comment down below, like this video, and subscribe, and I will see you real soon. Bye, crafty friends. Thank you.